I did a video about 2 years ago on why ratings and overall viewership has been low for MTV Video Music Award shows, as well as the Grammys, and felt that I needed to expand on this a bit more with this video and tie it in with another topic that includes the direction of music and what is happening, and why some people feel that the overall quality of new music today is not as good as it used to be. I can feel that this is a multifaceted topic, and there can be many reasons as to why the overall quality is not as good as music back in the day, whatever day that may be. Well, let's get into it. Hi, my name is Miko Reed, and welcome to my channel. The pandemic, politics, and social movements certainly did not help the viewership of the music award shows dipping in the ratings, with the audiences getting frustrated from not being able to leave the house, attend live concerts, and go to the award shows, as well as politics infiltrating the music award shows. A few entertainers felt emboldened to prioritize a music award show and tell us how we should vote and for what issue and for whom. Isn't this a music award show? People got turned off and stopped watching those shows. I don't know about you, but when I go to a show to hear my favorite band, the last thing on my mind is politics, which leads me to the main discussion of this video. Has the quality of music gone down? What's going on with music? Number one, too much technology. Back in the olden days, one was required to spend a lot of hours and time practicing their instrument, which took years to develop that talent. Now, granted, there are different levels of talent that people are born with. You can take two musicians and have them start learning how to play the guitar with the same weekly practice schedule and the same once-a-week lessons with a guitar teacher, and for whatever reason that only God knows, one will soar by leaps and bounds within a short period of time and play circles around the other guy, including the teacher. As musicians, we all can think and name of a few that are like this, but to not get completely off topic, the main point is that they all put in the work, the hours. They did the lessons, the rehearsals, then the jam sessions. Whitney Houston, Tina Turner, and Janis Joplin, these women, they put in the work. They put in the hours practicing, singing in church, going to vocal rehearsals, and honed their vocal chops before they were ready to go out on their own and get a deal. From the 60s to the 90s, you were required to have some sort of chops in your musicianship or vocal abilities. Otherwise, you had no hopes for a career. There's a theory called the 10,000 hour rule, which was created by journalist Malcolm Gladwell, and this theory means that you have to put in 10,000 hours of practice time in order to become a true expert at it. And this applies to any skill. Just to play devil's advocate here, maybe this could be the reason in the lack of talent, because people don't have the time nor desire to commit 10,000 hours into learning how to play and improve on an instrument. And another counter argument is, could it be that today's culture is much more fast-paced? Most people are overly involved in too many activities and other commitments that they don't have the time to invest to learn an instrument. Also, lots of public school programs don't offer music classes nor fund or encourage the arts as much as they used to due to cutting back on costs. Another thing that came about was the emergence of auto-tune and melodyne. Recently, two articles came out in which two recording artists and vocal powerhouses in their own right, Carrie Underwood and Chaka Khan, they voiced their frustrations and opinions on singers that use auto-tune during the live performances. Carrie stated in a recent Rolling Stone article, and I quote, "I'd lose respect for them. Or when I go to a concert and hear them drop keys, I was like, you can't hit the notes. Why did you record them if you can't sing them? That stuff is important to me." And Chaka Khan recently stated in an article, "There is some great stuff out there, and there are some great artists," she said at the Angel Ball in New York City last week. "There's some very fine young artists out there doing great work that I am impressed with. But the others, they all need to get them a job at the post office. They're always hiring. People are using autotune. They need to get to the post office, quick." There may be truth to what she's saying. Believe it or not, there are actually some very well-known singers that use autotune during their live performances on stage. I also hear the same criticisms of musicians and bands that use tracks during the live performances. It is technology that they're using to their advantage, but at the same time, are they trying to convince an audience that a 7-piece band can sound like a 12-piece band? Is this wrong or right? I'm kind of neutral on this use of technology, and I actually have played, and I do once in a while play in bands that use pre-recorded tracks in their live shows, but I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Technology can be a good thing. We have it available to us to have any access to find music and discover new artists on the internet. Independent musicians can digitally upload their own music to aggregators such as DistroKid, TuneCore, and CD Baby in a matter of 10 minutes. And you can now collaborate with other musicians online to create a whole song, and the list goes on and on. Here's a counter argument. There are some genres that completely rely on technology to create their music, such as in the EDM space. And shouldn't music always be evolving and pushing forward and growing? Shouldn't musicians challenge themselves in trying to create new sounds in a new genre? Kind of like what they did with the creation of house music, techno, and trance. Some of these huge recording artists can make well over 6 figures for performing at a 3-hour New Year's Eve show. One NYE show. Think about it. With today's easy access to technology, anybody can be a home producer and take some beats, make a song in 5 minutes, record their vocals to it, and they have a masterpiece. And with the aid of Melodyne and Autotune, various plugins, you don't even really need to know how to sing or play an instrument. Those programs will do it for you. And some of these new artists that have a huge fan base on multiple social media platforms, it's more about their image and popularity than it is the talent, which is a great ingredient to have if you want to be the next TikTok star. Which leads me to the whole new trend of influencer turned singer. Number 2, social media killed the music star. Influencers, aka TikTok singers, they're all starting to infiltrate the industry. It appears to be more about their looks and their image more so than it is about their talent. It's used as a marketing accessory to promote their social media influencer brands. Basically, their songs are more of a side thing or hobby used to draw a different audience that probably wasn't following their brands in the first place, and now they become fans of their music, which brings into question the quality of the song and the people's taste in music. There seems to be a lack of quality control in music. One may say that since anyone can produce and release a song and easily upload it, then who's to say that the song was well produced and the music was well composed and the song lyrics make sense? No one can say otherwise, and they can't oversee and push back on that process. However, isn't music subjective? Shouldn't the audience or fans be the ultimate judge of what they think is good music? Or should it continue to be some bigwig executive in the music industry that delegates and dictates what they think the people want to hear based on data and statistics and what they think is hot? And with this new AI technology, they now actually have fake AI artist profiles on Spotify that currently have over 1 million streams and a huge fan base. These are actually computer robots, not humans, that have existing artist profiles on Spotify right now. This is what we have to compete with now. And these robots are kicking my behind in the streams, let me tell you. Number 3, artists are not developing their skills as musicians and singers anymore. I touched on this a little bit in the topic earlier on technology, and I wanted to dig in further on the elephant in the room. Are new artists ready to play and perform on the same stage as the other big heavyweights? Like I mentioned earlier, when discussing artists back in the day, you have your music legends such as Charlie Parker, Jimi Hendrix, Steve Perry, Aretha Franklin, and James Brown, just to name a few, who were known when they were children to have put in the hours of practice, rehearsals, and some even took lessons before they were discovered and got signed. So their talent was already developed, and they got even better once they started recording albums and touring. It was almost unheard of for an A&R guy to accept less than talent from a musician who wasn't ready to even be put in a studio. This was before artist development. That was artist development. They were required to do the work and invest in developing their skills. You had to be better than good if you wanted a career out of it. Charlie Parker practiced 14 hours a day on his sax. That's crazy. I don't know anybody that does that right now. Then again, he's Charlie Parker, so. But I digress. You were expected to practice daily to maintain and improve your chops. Up into the 90s, R&B and pop, singers were required to be vocal powerhouses before even thinking about getting a deal. With your Mariah Careys, your Tina Marie's, Taylor Danes, Celine Dion's, and Gladys Knight's, a singer had to be amazing on their vocals. With this comes a lot of hours invested in practice and vocal training. Compared to the expectations from new artists, you don't have to have that much prior training, just a huge social media following first, be under 21 years old, and have an OnlyFans page. It seems like your numbers, followers, and social media draw has taken precedence over raw talent. Young people are not interested in learning how to play an instrument because of the instant access to making music in a matter of minutes, and it's too hard. Guitar sales within the last 10 years have declined to about 1.5 mil in sales to about 1 million. I think this is a result of the rise of making digital music, and the industry is not signing as many bands anymore, probably because the skill level in their musicianship is not up to standard anymore. I also think their interests have shifted to online gaming and social media and streaming services, which is taking away their focus from learning how to play an instrument. And last but not least, number 4, artist development is dead. Now that labels no longer develop artists anymore, the result of some of that has been artists getting signed that are clearly not developed in their skills, which leads to the overusage of auto-tune, many retakes in the recording studio, and tons of filters, tons of plugins. It appears that due to industry pressure, shift in the younger culture's interest today, and finding artists that already went viral on social media platforms, that determines whether a record label feels that you are ready to be signed. Are they only interested in the amount of streams that you have? Who's talking about who? What pronouns one refers themselves to as today? Or how many woke check boxes does one fit in? It's like popularity has taken precedence over real raw talent. You also have to take into consideration that the music industry is a business, and they're in the business of making money from music artists. The largest consumers of music is the age group between 15 and 25-year-olds. So obviously they're going to put all their dollars in reaching that target audience and produce music that they want to hear. If the older generations, the older millennials, Gen Xers, and baby boomers invested and supported the music industry and letting them know what they wanted to hear, then the music industry would produce new music that they'd want to hear. So I want to hear your guys' comments down below. What do you think of the topics that were discussed? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Once again, my name is Miko Reed. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notifications bell so you'll be notified for any latest and greatest content that has been uploaded.